And that's always my thing, is that if people are going to do you the favor and come onto your project for free, do whatever you can, make their life as easy as you possibly can. There's all sorts of different ways you can do it, and just, make sure that
I'm on a journey to create the greatest movie experience in the world. While I'm carving out my filmmaking entrepreneurial path, I want to help you create yours. Let's make some movies.
Hey everyone, James Martin here. Listen, making a movie is very hard, especially when you're starting out, because maybe you have no equipment, maybe you don't have any software, maybe you don't really even have a big budget. So what can you do? What are your options? And where should you even begin when it comes to making a movie? What are your options, and what should you be focusing on your very first few short films? Well, I'm covering that today with my 10 beginner tips for creating a movie. Make sure you stay through the entire video to get all the jam-packed value I'm going to bring you. And if this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe, because I've got weekly videos packed with value happening every single Saturday. So right now, let's get to the video. Tip number 1, be nice. And yes, that is my very first tip. The thing is, making a movie is extremely stressful. Long hours, very hard work. Sometimes things don't go as planned. Everyone's got their own way of working together, and so it's going to be a lot of stress on you. What you don't want to do is be mean back. What that's going to do is they're going to start walking away. They don't have to commit to your project. So please make sure you're nice to everyone. Be thankful. Thank them that they're even coming onto your set. Thank them that they are volunteering to help bring your creation to life. Tip number 2 that I would say is, whatever your first few short films are, especially if you're starting out, make sure they're as simple as possible. And listen, I'm all about ambition. I'm all about going big or go home. But what you don't want to do is overblow it, because it's just going to create a lot more stress and a lot more hard work. Start out as simple as possible and then grow your way up. So what I would suggest to you is create a short film that's maybe, a few minutes long. Just focus on those simple basics, because then what you need to do is gain experience. So when you start gaining experience on how to shoot something basic, then you can start challenging yourself. But when you're doing those first, I'd say 3 to 5 short films, just keep them as simple as possible. Tip number 3, start with the equipment that you already have and then gradually go up from there. A lot of people like to assume that they need to spend a lot of money and get big equipment and big expensive gear in order to make good movies. That's not true. What if you end up not making any more movies? What if you have a piece of equipment and you don't know how to use it? What if you buy some equipment and it doesn't help what you're trying to do? So you want to start with what you have and perfect that skill. And then when you need to go upgrade, then you can do more of that. The other thing I want to tell you is that don't go straight into buying equipment. And if you want to, if you have friends that might have other equipment and they're happy to lend you some of their equipment, then do that. Whatever you do, try and save money. Put that into your project and into other areas. Borrow equipment from other people, be careful, treat it nicely, return it in the same condition it was, and that way you can save some money. If you want to spend a little bit of money, then start renting equipment. Alright, so you can rent equipment for a whole weekend. It's the same price as if you're renting it for a day. Sometimes they may require insurance, some people don't. You're going to have to check in with them to see what they require. But that's really the best way, where if you want to test out some equipment and just slowly amp your game, then rent equipment. And this is also a great segue into, if you're looking into buying a camera, rent that camera out. That way you get a good feel for it and you can see if that's worth your money. And then when you're ready to, then you can buy that. But this is a way where you can save money and just really focus on improving your skill. Alright, my next tip is focus on the best audio. So a lot of people will forgive bad camera, but they will not forgive bad audio. Make sure your priority is in good audio. So you want to make sure that when you're shooting, that your actors are speaking as clearly and loudly as possible. You want to make sure that you have some of the best microphones that you can get. And listen, this is as simple as, if you're shooting with your phone, you can also have another phone or a tablet or a small microphone or something and hide it right next to the actors. That way you have something that's recording their audio and it's really close to where the dialogue is actually happening. So if you want to even rent equipment, I would suggest try out some microphones, try out some audio recorders, and if you have a few $100, get an audio recorder. My next tip, bring food and snacks to the set. You see, as I said before, when you're working on a movie set, it's going to be really long hours. Bringing food and snacks and drinks is going to make a huge impact. What you don't want to do is have your crew go hungry or thirsty or lose energy. You want that energy to keep going no matter what. And get as many snacks as you can. Get water bottles, get coffee, get tea, get some juice maybe, get some muffins or some donuts or pastries or something like that, just to kind of give it a little bit of quick energy. Maybe you want to invest in some crackers or cheese or something that's not going to give a lot of energy but at least be filling. And of course, make sure you provide meals, good healthy meals. Listen, you can home cook your own meals and then bring them to set. I've done that too. So whatever you can to really give good quality food, snacks, and drinks to the set really makes a big difference. My next little tip, and this is sort of a small hack, if you're doing your first few small shorts, I'd do some investigation and try to find some very picturesque locations. What do I mean by this? I'm talking about sceneries and images that are just beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I'm talking about cliffs. I'm talking about cities. I'm talking about amazing graffiti in urban areas. I'm talking about stuff that just, you look at this image and you think, wow, this is amazing. And have that be the backdrop for your movie. I would suggest try to find places that are not too busy, where it's going to be crowded, and of course where you can just take a few people in there and not get kicked out. Obviously, you want to be as legal as possible. You want people to look at your trailers or movies or clips and think, wow, this is a gorgeous movie. And then it buys into sort of like, okay, give this movie a chance because we've got some beautiful sceneries happening.
Hey guys, so apparently I forgot to include tip number 7, so I'm going to throw it in here. So tip number 7 is about having fun. You know, it's not all about working your face off and making money and all that stuff. If you do, then no one would actually enjoy it. You know, and filmmaking can be fun. It can be loads of fun. So find different ways on how you can make the experience creative, whether it's just, you know, a little bit of joking around within reason, have a great attitude, have fun, and just, you know, be playful and make the experience as fun as humanly possible. And, you know, when you're done, enjoy the moment, have a wrap party, take some pictures with each other, just really try and make the experience as fun as possible.
My 8th tip is to edit on softwares you already have or use free softwares. Editing softwares can cost a lot of money. You know, I use Final Cut 10. Final Cut 10 costs $400. You don't have to use Final Cut 10 if you don't want to. iMacs usually come with iMovie. Windows computers and laptops usually come with Windows Movie Maker. That's free software. You can also spend less than $50 going to a local computer store and getting very cheap software. You could go online and get a trial version of an editing software. They might add a watermark, so just do a bit of research, but you can get free software downloaded and edit off of that. I recommend that, especially if you're starting out, don't spend money on software. Again, the point is we don't want to spend money where we don't have to. So on your very first few shorts, just use what software you have and try to save as much money as possible. That money has other priorities. And then once you've done several, like maybe 3 to 5 movies and you want to keep going and amp the game, then you might want to invest in some software. Tip number 9 is use free legal music. So what do I mean by this? So there's a ton of resources out there on getting free music for your movies. There are places like you can work with a musician. There are websites online where you can either get monthly free stock music, or there are websites that let you download music for free that you can use in your movies. If you want more information on this, I do have a video on this on 3 sources of music that are free and you can use in your movies and content. I'll link that in the cards and the description down below. Again, what you want to do is you don't want to spend money on composers or libraries or stock music if you can avoid it. There are other alternatives. Again, I highly recommend work with a musician. That just brings a whole lot of quality and value into your production. And just do some research. Find some areas where you can get some free music. If you go on YouTube, there are tons of YouTubers posting their own music and all they ask for is a credit in your production. There are tons and tons, and I've utilized this music before. Do some research and just get some free music for you. It really helps tell the story. And you can experiment with mixing the music and finding what works best for certain scenes, certain emotions, certain beats. That's a technical term we use in the industry. Certain beats, certain moments. My final tip for you is make sure that whoever does work on your movie all benefits. So what do I mean by this? Well, in the industry, there's sort of like a common negotiation where if you come onto a movie for free, you get what's called a copy and credit. What that means is you're going to get a free copy of the movie so that you can use it in your demo reel or show off to your friends. They do have a right to sort of get a free copy of that movie, whether they were on it for free or not anyways. And a credit is their name at the end credits. Make sure you write their name appropriately. Make sure you give them a good title. You know, be creative and find different suggestions for that. Maybe you want to send this movie to film festivals. That's not only going to help you and help your movie, but it's also going to help the people get involved because they're going to get exposure and either they get connected with other people or they win awards themselves. And that's always my thing, is that if people are going to do you the favor and come onto your project for free, do whatever you can. Make their life as easy as you possibly can. Again, invest in food, get some drinks, make sure that they're not going to go hungry, make sure they're always going to have energy and they're not going to crash. Try and make the sets as fun as possible. I know some people where they'll take their crew and cast to get breakfast somewhere else and then go to set. You know, you could drive people around. There's all sorts of different ways you can do it, and just, you know, make sure that they can benefit as well. If you're doing a premiere or a screening, give them free tickets. They deserve it. They helped you create this movie. So just find different ways. And if you're curious on suggestions on how to make it beneficial for them, please let me know down in the comments. So that's it. I just gave you 10 tips for beginners on how to create your few short films. If you got value, let me know in the comments what particular tip really stood out to you the most and really helped you out. Alright, and also make sure to subscribe because I post weekly videos jam-packed full of value. You don't want to miss out. So until then, good luck with your movies, guys.